DeSilvis from DeSilvis Media and also InfoWars. We'll put a little thing here. I'm going to talk about family and talk about Thanksgiving. This is going out late, I know, but that's okay. Well, it's better later than never, right? And then I want to focus on all the protesting that's going on. Let's first talk about family. Thanksgiving is a time of year where we need to be thankful for all the things that God has blessed us. We live in uncertain times, and there's a lot of things that could quickly make us mad and make us lose sight and vision of order and supremacy and what God would want us to do. I think for all those people, my heart goes out to those people who want to protest peacefully to make this land better. Because I know a lot of people are fed up with the current system that we are in and under, with Obama's continual use of gaslighting and lies and deception tactics, and how they want to make everyone mad at each other according to race, and how they want to make everybody racially mad at each other, when really it's not about that. Or they want people to get mad at the cops or get mad at the army, get mad at the government to cause war. That's another thing they want to do. So it's a multi-level plan that they're unfolding here. But the thing is, we can't allow that. We are people, and if we want to make this nation better, it's great that y'all want to protest, and how it's weird how when you find out, it's a communist plot that is being sponsored by some provocateurs from the Democratic Party. That's why all this stuff is going on in all the towns. It's not, some people may be legitimately protesting, and those people that are doing that, I salute you. But the ones that are out there that are provocating and telling people to burn buildings down, or if people are burning buildings down or looting stores in certain towns, that is not America. That is not going to make it better when you destroy somebody's town, where they live, their livelihood, maybe their job even. That's just going to make things a lot worse and make that town and that area, if companies and businesses are destroyed, it's just going to lower the living and economic standard for all the people in that area, because they're not going to have no place to get stuff or to sell stuff or to do business with other people. And therefore, that's just going to make things a lot worse. So, burning buildings down like the globalists want, where you see people doing that, or you might have seen that with the state-run dinosaur media out there, the big wigs out there that have been bought off by the government that are propaganding this thing and fueling this thing to make people be violent and be angry and to go out and do these kinds of things. That's what they were talking about, what they meant by the November surprise. This is it. And what we have to do is be thankful for God that we still are, in spite of this going on, that a lot of people are still at peace. And a lot of people have homes. And a lot of people have their families. And a lot of people can be thankful because of all the things that God has done for us, in spite of all this turmoil that's going on from Satan, trying to divide and to destroy this country. And by them trying to get us all mad at each other, is going to destroy the framework of what we have for church. It's going to take away our freedoms of speech. It's going to take away our freedoms and our rights, that we have here in the nation, because it's going to make us buy into their tyranny. And that's what they want. And that's what we don't want to do, to buy into their tyranny, to say that we need to have this because that's why all this looting's happening. No, it's because it's engineered. People, what you need to do, realize, is you need to go after the people that are actually doing the crimes. And those are the people you need to go at, not the cops, not the FBI, not the government. Some people in there are bad and they need to be gone after, but not all cops are bad. They really aren't. But if they're getting orders to kill innocent people and to shoot on them and to kill media people, then, you need to defend yourself if that happens, if it comes down to it. But but if the cops are being orderly, you shouldn't take it out on them innocently when they're not the ones that did it. Even though the media may say and paint another picture otherwise, that the cops are the villains, because that's what you hear. Yeah, I agree with a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people in town in Mechanicsville, around here in Hanover, in County, Virginia. I believe that we need to have a government that needs to be more accountable, because a lot of people are mad about that. They really are mad about that. That there's no accountability. It's like the cops do something wrong. Some of these bad cops that are in the police departments around this country are really bad, and they shouldn't be in there. And the ones that are doing bad are ruining it for all you good cops. And like I've always said, I really love our police officers. A lot of them do a wonderful job, and they are good cops, and they're nice. There's a lot of them around here that are really nice. They're just like us. They want to protect you and protect their families, and they want to survive, and that's what they're trying to do. And they're honest, law-abiding. But see, if some foreign people come in here, they're not going to be law-abiding and honest. And that's the thing. We have some of those in our police officer departments all across the country, and police precincts. They're all over. Because that's part of the plan, is to take over these departments by replacing them with these foreign people that are from other countries, so they can come in here and shoot citizens on sight and not have a care in the world, because where they're from, that's where it happens on a daily scale. So that's our plan, is to replace all the people that are in these departments, which we cannot allow to happen, because that's the big plan, is to take out all the people in all levels of government and replace them with all these evil, trolls that follow the orders of an evil, corrupt government, where bad people are at the helms who are trying to take over this country. And if they can take away our liberties and our freedoms, then they can take away everything. And that means they can take over this country. And that's what's happened in other countries. It's called divide and conquer, All through history you see that, like what happened with Rome, what happened with the Persian Empire, what happened with Babylon, Rome and Babylon. It all happened because of that reason. People were so paranoid that they killed innocent people a lot of times, because they were so distrusting of even people that were in their communities were bad. Maybe some of them were, but a lot of people died that were innocent that weren't bad because of paranoia and fear. And do we want to become a nation of fear mongers, where we're so scared of our own shadow, like we're so scared when we fart that we might get locked up? We really want to become a nation like that? When we buy into the tyranny and where we want to give government the full power over control of every facet of our lives? Or do we really want to become a nation where we're strong, where we can stand up and make plans? I mean, all you people that are protesting is great, but you need to have an agenda. You need to have a group or a committee in your protesting, the ones that are out there legitimately really doing this to make a difference for the country. You need to devise a plan and an agenda, so you know what you want to say to the authorities of the land in your area, so you can have a step of logic of resolution. And that doesn't always involve war or burning down buildings either. A lot of times buildings can be built by words and by set a plan and directives, where you can sit down with the government leaders of your area and talk to them about it. And maybe there'll be other people that will listen, and do it with due process. Because a lot of people are still doing due process, even though there's some that are not. But there's more so that I found out in a lot of places around here and all through the country, there's still a lot of good people that are still following the law and doing it the way it's supposed to be. And they're not giving in to this stuff. So you need to get with those people and find out who those cops are, or find out who your government officials are, because some of them people feel the same way you do. And maybe you have one of those officials in your town or in your city. That's who you all need to talk to as protesters. And set up an appointment with them. Bombard their phones until you can get them out of the office to get to talk to you. And then work up a plan perspective, to let them know what you like to do to improve the overall. Remember, it's not about you, but it's about everyone. The better their lives. Whether you're black, white, red. It's not about race here, even though that's what they're trying to paint it as with Michael Brown's death. That guy was not innocent. That guy had a drug warrant for his arrest. Then he went to a store, one of those quick and easy kind of stores, and stole some stuff out of there. And then he tried to take the cop's gun when he was trying to apprehend him, get him in custody. And that's why he got shot in the hand. And he just kept running, and he wouldn't stop, so he shot him. And in Missouri, they're allowed to shoot if they feel like their lives were threatened. And his life, that officer was threatened, and that's why he shot. I would have done the same thing. It had nothing to do with his color, trust me. It's because of what he did. Because this guy, Michael Brown, was not innocent. Now, maybe he shouldn't have been shot up as many times, but I think he didn't do it for racist, even though some people might say, oh, yeah, it's racist because they're looking for that. And that's all they're seeing is race. And those kind of people are closed-minded because that's all the only thing they're looking at. There's no racist here. If someone's, trying to take your gun and hit you and try to take your gun, you'd shoot them too, and it wouldn't matter what color they were. And it wouldn't matter where they were from. And that's what happened here. The guy just defended himself, the police officer. That's what he did. It had nothing to do with him being white or black. I mean, he could have been green. He could have been a ninja. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. He did it what he had to do because he was protecting himself, because he was in fear of his life, and that's why he shot that boy. This guy was running away from the cops. He was not, giving in, like the media, the dinosaur media puts it. He was not giving in. He was not submitting to authorities so they could come and arrest him and take him to the police station and lock him up. No, he was trying to elude the police, and that's why I shot him too. After he got in that assault with the police officer, that's why I shot him. And if I was a police officer, I would have done the same thing. It has nothing to do with colors. What he did. Was a white person that did it? Was a Puerto Rican that did it? Was anybody that did it? If they're breaking the law and they're doing those kinds of things, I would have done the same thing. Because I'm not going to have somebody try to take my gun and hit me and then try to take my gun and try to shoot me with my own gun, so they can get away and go, victimize more people, when you're trying to do your job to serve. Now, I don't think it was right for them to leave some people feel like, because, this sort of race just leaving his body out in the street for 4 hours after he got killed to show as an example, if you do this, we're going to do this to you. Because that's how some people took it, because that did look kind of racial. They should have removed his body a lot quicker than 4 hours, leaving it on display there for everyone to look at. Like the cops are like, well, if you do this, we're going to do this to you like we did it to him. We're going to riddle you with bullets. So you better get it, because that does look sort of racial, even though probably it wasn't, but some people will think that way because the body was out there way too long, out there in the heat and out there in the elements. It should have been cleaned up a lot quicker than being out there for over 4 hours. So, there's a lot of things, the way they did the persecution, not the persecution, but the way they did the trial proceedings was very bad. They waited till the night so that when things broke out, I guess so they could come up on the protesters that were really angry, expressing their anger, because, they've had a lot of things happen out there, and a lot of people are mad and they're tired, and I understand that. But burning down your own buildings, ladies and gentlemen, is not smart. All you're doing is destroying your town. Destroying businesses is not going to help, solve the problems to get the government's attention. Because remember, those businesses are owned by individuals. They're not owned by government entities. So most of those businesses you destroyed were businesses that were owned by individuals. So the government's not going to really do anything about it. And then, the government might replace everything in the building and everything, but it's not going to replace all their lost wages and time that they lost. Why they had to make all the necessary repairs to get their business back up. And what about that one building, the Home Depot, that got totally destroyed? I think that's what it was called. It got totally burnt to the ground. What about that? They're not even owned by the government. But, people were just going around. And what about, how did those buildings catch on fire? Because all those buildings were locked up and boarded up. And what did they do? Go down in through the ceiling or find another way in through the ground underneath and plant some explosives in there? Or maybe the people put them in there, maybe for insurance reasons to get out of, money. It's possible, it's plausible, and very feasible. They could have done that, it's a perfect opportunity. So everybody's going to blow up their buildings, or maybe it was purposely planted. The evidence we will never know or may never come to light to see the light of day, but somebody knows what went on. If someone was using this kind of situation as a way to make money, they're not going to make money. If this is proven that they did this, as attempt in participation of the riots. If that's the case, insurance people are going to make the connection, and they're going to, they're not going to pay because it was deliberately done. But if it was done by sabotage by government officials or mad people that got in there somehow and planted the stuff in there the day before the riots happened, that on Tuesday night in Ferguson, Missouri, then that's a whole nother issue. Then insurance will pay because that's not something you did. But if they can prove that, if it's evidence that shows and links all these people, because probably most of the people in this area, private insurance was probably the same company or maybe one or two companies, and they're just going to compare notes and say, well, this is really convenient opportunity, mode of opportunity here, and if they can't find that it was sabotaged by some protesters, they're just not going to pay the claim, so therefore the businesses aren't going to open. So that's just ruined the area there, and it's horrible. And my thoughts and prayers go out to all the business owners who lost their business as a result of these foolish people, or provocateurs as they were, that went in there and burned the buildings down. Because they're making it sound like it's cool to go down and burn a building, because that's what they're telling people on some of these shows that they put out, commercials, show your anger for your country, trying to get people all mad at each other because of racism, And then they want to burn up the, the towns And that's just crazy in itself if you really think about it. And, because why would you do that? Because you're just destroying your economy and your way of life from thousands of people that rely on those things for jobs and employment. I mean, those are just individual privately owned businesses. They have nothing to do with the government. I mean, they all pay taxes to the government, but, it's like I do. But the thing is, they have nothing to do essentially with the government. So why did the people go and destroy and loot and burn the buildings down, or try to burn a lot of them down? Well, it's so stupid. Why did they break the windows out of those places? That was so dumb. A lot of people probably, my theory is a lot of those people, some people might have done that, would live there in the town, but a lot of those people came in from outside and did that. And that was so wrong. But I really believe it was two groups of people. A lot of people were legitimately protesting, but they weren't destroying their town. The people that came in from outside, from other places that aren't even from Ferguson, they're the ones that should be punished. And if there is, handprints that were left behind, we need to find those people and lock them up because they destroyed your town. And that was totally wrong, and that was a criminal offense. And that could happen all through this country, because what happened in Ferguson could also happen here. We do not want to allow martial law to take our streets. We do not want to allow for the Army and National Guard to do this. We can keep this peacefully and have it free, because that's what they want. They want to make a panic so people will, rise up and do things that are violent. So they'll send people in to create these things. And if this is going on since it happened in Ferguson, we can know that this could happen nationwide. So this will give them a perfect excuse to roll in martial law. And that is what we don't want, because that means all your freedoms will be gone. Speech, the internet, you can kiss all that goodbye. Facebook, all your stuff would be heavily censored. Everything you do would be heavily scrutinized. So we don't want our nation to become that, people. So if they see something, you need to take care of it, because the cops aren't going to do it, because they've been, and a lot of times when things happen, like we saw in Ferguson, it'll happen here. They'll be told to stand down so that other armies and people can come in and take over the town. We don't want that. So what we need to do, whether we're cops or people, we need to stop those people and not allow them to destroy our towns and cities, that are coming in, that are criminals, that are from other places, to create problems here. We got to stop that. With guns, we need to stop it however we can. We got to shut it down. But the thing is, people that are legitimately, peacefully protesting and coming up with a strategy plan to give to government officials in your area to make it better for all citizens in the area, not just yourself, but for everyone in general. That's what these protests is about. It should not be solely focused on Michael Brown's death or focused on race, because it has nothing to do with race. It's just their strategy of trying to get everybody all mad at each other, and that's what they've been trying to do since Obama's 2008. 2012 election is what his agenda has been since 2012. So, we got to understand that, because that's what he's been saying on the news and all. You need to watch that, because that's what he's been saying, even though he says it's not going on. He says the opposite of what he says. Everything he says is the opposite, so it's code. So you need to understand, he warned us in November that there was a surprise coming. This is it, people. Wake up. This is it. So we got to be aware. Anyways, Michael DeSilvis, have a good Thanksgiving. Be thankful for your loved ones, your family. Be thankful you're alive. Be thankful it's free in the area where you are. For all those who are out in Ferguson, what happened to you, I feel really sorry about what happened there. That shouldn't have gone that far. People should not destroy their towns in any place or city, because it's not constitutional. It's against the law, and it's treason, and it's crime to destroy other people's businesses. You should not destroy the towns, because that's not going to get the government's attention. All right, all it did was just destroy that economic base for that area, and that's just so dumb. As people, they're trying to advertise in other countries where this has happened, where people done that. Well, all it's done in those countries where they've done the same thing, if you see it on YouTube, which I have, is just made things a lot worse for those people in that area. It just made them be a thriving town, middle class, and made them be a ghetto town, because all the things they had in the town when people destroyed it made them become that way, because there's nothing there for economics to go. So we don't want to destroy pilfer all the businesses and all, because it's across America. That is so dumb. If you really have a strategy and you're mad, I understand it, but don't take it out on the towns. Don't take it out on the buildings. For God, don't destroy the economic and the stability and the freedoms that you have based on being irresponsible and being selfish and just thinking about yourself. Have a plan of action, talk to the right people and get your plan across so that they can talk about it and use due process. And use the law on your side, the people who you can go to, who you can trust, so that your agenda can be heard. If you are a leader, a natural-born leader, then you can rise up to the occasion, and believe me, other authorities and other people in your town will listen to you who are not really in support of this New World Order type of government, because they will rise and they will stand by your side when they're against what's going on, and then new things can change, and that's how change happens. You just don't go out and protest because it's about Michael Brown, because this guy was not innocent. It shouldn't be anything about Michael Brown. It should be about, the freedoms, about all the lies that we've been told, about Obamacare, where we're being taxed and where there's all this lawlessness going on. That's what it's about, and that's what people should be mad about. Now that we need to devise a plan is the second part of that, and not just to march like drones, but we need to have a purpose. That's why we're doing this. Not to destroy towns, but to better and to enrich America as a whole, as a sovereign nation. And that's what made our leaders so great, where we rise up above the tyranny, where we rise up above the fear, and we make a difference for all humanity. That's what it's about, folks. So anyway, this is Michael DeSilvis. Leave your comments down below and subscribe down below. Remember, I love you. Take care. God bless. It's Michael DeSilvis, evangelist for New Hunter Church of Christ. Let's all make a difference together, so that we can have a better nation and be of peace and be warriors for good in the midst of all the chaos. Because that's what we really are supposed to be, agents of good and agents for God. Think about that, folks. Have a good Thanksgiving. I love you. See you tomorrow with another update.